All right, hey, welcome to another edition of JTJU, where we all try to be just a little better at the game of Clash of Clans. I got another episode, if you would, of this do or don't. We had one earlier that kind of really focused more on .5 in general and whether or not 8.5, 9.5, and 10.5 bases made sense. But within that, there was a subtopic around build and cancel, and we actually saw another clan running this just now. Had a win streak of 40 this time. Last time it was 70. So I thought it was a good chance to go back and look at just specifically around build and cancel, because I think we had a pretty good discussion around .5 in the earlier one, and I don't know where that card is for YouTube, but I'll click right here. We should drop down and take a look at it. But you can look at that if you want, but this one will focus more on this war around the build and cancel side. So let's look at what we want to talk about. I'll look at the war first, and then kind of what happened. How did the match happen? Kind of setting the stage again around how .5 helps clans, and then on match, who had the advantage before building cancel even came into play, and then once we build cancel, who had the advantage. We'll look at some replays off of that. We'll look at the 8.5 base performance specifically, because that really isn't usually impacting build cancel. It doesn't really help. So we'll kind of clarify why that is, and then we'll look at build cancel specifically, which is zooming in on, I guess I could clarify that, zooming in on specifically the 9.5 and 10.5 bases, why we do it, defensive results those bases had, the attack results those bases had, how do you counter it, and then like the other one before, should the average clan and the fair play clans do it at all. In terms of how the match happened, there's a lot of info there. Let's close that out. But you can see right here, color coded is the town hall levels. So these are town hall 11s, so we're pretty evenly matched there when the weighting scheme looked at it. This is the weights differences. So you can see, it just had a minor difference at town hall 11. The town hall 10 is pretty well matched at 4 off. They had 4 more additional town hall 10s, the 9.5s that they were running. This off color is the .5, so 1 town hall 10.5, 4 9.5s, and then all these are their 8.5s. But you can see the weight wasn't bad, but again, like the prior video, the weight difference that .5 drives is right here. Because again, notice how the weight of their .5s range from, now this is post their build cancel activity, but ranged from high 60s to low 70s, whereas ours were kind of similar, a little bit different, a little off. And so really probably these matched at the beginning, so they were all at 69, probably were matching at that weight for 9.5 to 9.5. And then when they threw the eye towers down, this is the one that didn't. Here, let me pop it out, I'll show you. No eye tower was built with this one. This is not a build cancel. So notice how the weight stayed the same, but when they added their eye towers, this one had 2. Look at the jump there in weight. 69 to 76, 69 to 72. And in this case, it got 4 for 1 eye tower. So it's a pretty big weight differential when you think about it, that they're getting out of it. But you can see how the matchmaking actually before that really probably worked out by just looking at the one that it didn't do the build on, how the weight stayed at 69, which is exactly what the weight was for his mirror. And then down at their .5s, they actually didn't do anything with their .5s. And that's interesting because their .5s, when you think about it, really doesn't help to do build cancel, because a Town Hall 9 with a level 1 Expo really isn't much more scary to 3-star than a one with an Expo. With or without, it's going to get 3-starred. But anyway, so that's kind of covering how the match happened, the weights. But on the match itself, let's look at who had the advantage. Did they really need to do the build cancel? And I guess if we're getting ahead of ourselves, let's look at what build cancel is in case you didn't watch the prior video. That's where you purposely running .5 bases, which is fine, right? But then you, on the prep day of a war, if you feel like you're going to lose, you have some or all of your .5s at Town Hall 9 or Town Hall 10, so your 9.5 bases, and your Town Hall 10 bases or Town Hall 11 bases, 10.5, that don't have eagles and don't have eye towers. You have them put those down. And then what the build cancels about is that once you get into the battle phase, or right before you do your next war, you cancel those builds so that you get the same matchmaking advantage again for the next war. So you're really just trying to recreate ongoing, every match having an advantage in terms of weights by or the ability to create an advantage if you need it. You know, like hit an emergency button, hit the easy button, by building these things, knowing you're going to cancel them. You know, and then again, looking at this waiting, again, look right at this right here. So from going from where their mirrors were at 70, 69, 69, where the three mirrors that built, those jumped to probably 4 or 5 up higher in terms of weight, which is a big deal. It's the most important defense for the level. So that's, you know, basically the definition, right? So they're basically building it when they need it. They don't do it every war. It's just when they get the match, they look at the matchup and they decide if they're nervous, they do one or more of their .5s doing the build with the cancel to follow, so that they always can. It's almost like they have an accelerating pedal, right? They can do more or less, but they want to have a consistent advantage in every war. So that's what's going on. So I jumped ahead for you there, but on the match, though, before they did the build cancel, did Buckeye, in this case, that's the name of the clan. If we go over here, I had it up, and then it left me. There's my beautiful base. Buckeye. So there they are. And they were a good clan. Nice guys, came over, talked to us for quite some time. And I'm just curious, the goal of this video is more to talk about, does it really help? Did it help them strategically, tactically? Is it the right thing for clans to be doing? What was I talking about? Sorry. Oh, yeah. So who had the advantage? So when you look at the match itself, and you're saying, well, at Town Hall 11, did they have an advantage? Did anybody have an advantage? Not really, right? Before you do build cancel here, there's a slight advantage to JTJ because a Town Hall 11 without an eagle basically looks like a Town Hall 10. And so there's pretty high odds that you can, with a mirror attack, Alaska coming over in this case, you'd probably 3-star that base. That would probably give a star advantage. So that's why I say really at Town Hall 11, before the build cancel was done, really JTJ had an advantage at least with one extra nuke because we're probably going to 3-star that, maybe get a star out of it, close it out early. It's going to be hard for them to mirror and do that back to us because all of our 11s run eagles. It's the first thing we build. Town Hall 10, and we're going to include kind of for apples to apples, Town Hall 10 when we say that, when really we only had one because of the matchmaking system, the way it looks at .5s. We'll include all their mirror in Town Hall 9. So when you look at that group right there that I just highlighted, really the advantage needs to be broken down into a couple things, right? Offensively and defensively. And in both cases, Buckeye had the advantage because when you look at the offense, right, of a Town Hall 9.5 or that group, 4 of their 5 bases, these guys, were mirrored into Town Hall 9. And that's what everybody's always understood about .5. You can get these mismatches in terms of alignment, right, because of the weighting being kind of weird of how they look at it and how they weight offensive power. So they got really good value here. They had 5 .5 bases, or in this case Town Hall 9.5 bases, and 4 of them got matched to Town Hall 9. So it's almost like the perfect situation for them in terms of offensive advantage, right? Because they get extra spells, they get extra camp space, hitting across to a weaker defense, not a Town Hall 10. So it's a lot easier for them to create 3 stars and mirror from this than it is for the opposite to occur, for JTJ to hit into this. It's a little harder, even though right now, again, we're talking about before doing the build cancel. On the match itself, right after match. So let me clarify, right after match. Before build cancel, right? You want to say, well, they give them the offensive advantage. Makes sense, right? That's common .5 understanding. Defensively, though, right? Also common understand with .5. .5s will deny it, but really, there is a weakness to these bases. They are 3-starable if they're classic .5, no build to follow. They don't have their eye towers. So they look, even though they might have an extra giant bomb, something they could be running, they might have some other aspects of their defense that aren't Inferno related, upgraded, or maybe the additional expo's been put down. Whatever. It's still possible without the Inferno to do some nice attack where the Town Hall 9 takes it out. Or when you hit down into that from a Town Hall 10, like in case our one Town Hall and John, if there was no eye towers on these, it would be pretty easy for him to attack into this. It's similar to a Town Hall 9 nuke. and probably walk away with 2 strikes, 2 3-stars, right? So I would say, actually, even though it's Buckeye, it's a slight advantage defensively to Buckeye, because while I'm telling you how this 9.5s are a little weaker defensively, they're still stronger than even a max Town Hall 9 base. So in both cases, their Town Hall 10 group really created a strong advantage for them. And then the Town Hall 9s that remain, this group, is pretty even, right? I'm just going to be like, well, it's going to here or there, it's going to probably end up being the same. So overall, it was a pretty close war. I think, we had the extra nuke from Town Hall 11. We're a pretty competent group in terms of Town Hall 9 attacking. So we felt like, at that point, we could probably win this war. It looked pretty well. But then, after we did after the build cancels went down, and in their case, the build cancels they did was at Town Hall 10.5. They dropped the Eagle on their 10.5. And of the 6, how many is that? 5 of the 5 Town Hall 9.5s, they're Town Hall 10s without Infernos. 3 of them they decided to build eye towers, 1 with 2 and 2 with just 1, and the other one they left alone. And this guy already had the eye towers, so actually that wasn't a 9.5. That's why it was red. So actually there's only 4 9.5s. My bad. So 3 of 4 they dropped their eye towers, 1 they left alone. Right, so they tried to create an advantage of 3. So what does that do to the advantage profile? So at this point, I guess I'll leave this open too, right? Right. So before at Town Hall 11, I'd say the advantage was JTJ because we had that nuke on their Town Hall 11. But now when you drop the Eagle, it goes to even because they're all eagled, and there's no offensive or defensive difference, same amount of attacks and such. So there's a slight shifting towards Buckeye with that. And then in addition, there was no real change offensively with Buckeye from the build cancel. But defensively, the Town Hall 9.5 group, these 4, or these 3 specifically that did build it, those 3 bases really get a big bump. Because, right, as we mentioned in the earlier video, you add an eye tower to a Town Hall 9, or Town Hall 9.5, it really becomes a Town Hall 10. And everyone knows that a Town Hall 9 hit into a Town Hall 10 with eye towers is a pretty tough road to ask for a 3-star out of. If the defense is set up pretty well, that Town Hall 9 is probably not going to pull that out. Now, granted, it still could get hit downs into it, but it takes a bad situation and makes it worse. It really, where we might have been able to pull 1 or 2 3-stars out of this from Town Hall 9s really well executed against hitting with, whereas no eye towers, you might get 1 or 2 3-stars from that. When you add the eye towers, it becomes really a disadvantage. It probably won't happen with Town Hall 9 hit across, so you're going to have to nuke in, and we don't have a lot of nukes to spare. So you're, at that point, kind of +2. So at that point, it's really it's really shifted to the Buckeye clan at that point. They probably have a 2 3-star advantage just on paper. We don't know how good skilled they are versus our group, anything like that. But you can see how it kind of created a positive situation for them. It's interesting how, and in this war it's so clear because they didn't do one, how much of a bump they're getting in the weight differential when they do build it out. To kind of, as they assess what's been matched to them, do they need to add extra firepower to get an advantage, right? It's an interesting exploit of the way the game operates. But before we go into specific attacks and the stuff like that, let's look at the base defense of the 8.5s, just so we can recap it because it is there. So of these bases, defensively, 7 were there and 6 were 3-starred on the first hit. That's, if I close this stuff out and open this up, these are the ones that got 1-starred, and that creates that all these attacks that happen. So they didn't absorb. Your goal is to have bases absorb 2 attacks, so or more. And so in this case, we had 6 extra attacks flowing upwards into the Town Hall 9 category for scouting, other things that the enemy doesn't have, right? The other weird thing, though, is usually Town Hall 9s or 8.5s defend themselves saying they have better offensive power than their mirrors. If you look at their attacks, what actually happened, that's what's mentioned right here, they had 12 attacks, 3 3-stars were produced, all nuking into Town Hall 8. And really for Town Hall 8.5s to contribute, they need to 3-star into their peer group in the Town Hall 9 category, or into that bottom set of Town Hall 9s, and they didn't do any of that. So that was a problem for them in the real war when it started happening. And the other thing that was interesting is they often talk about how they'll perform better than their peers, and in actuality, if you compare this group to this group, the bottom four, those four, ignore these guys, just these four to those four, that group from our side had 8 attacks and did 7 3-stars. 2 were nukes. So basically they rolled these 4, nuked twice, and then had actually another 3-star up in the normal category. So a far better performance by 8.5s in our group, mirroring their 8.5, and continues to support our stance that 8.5s really don't help you. So if you're still pondering 8.5s for your team, I would say stop pondering. Get your expos down and help your team defensively. But moving past that into the build cancel part, we already did the definition. Let's look at the defensive results, right? So in the Town Hall 11 group, the 10.5, this guy was 1-starred via a Town Hall 10 hit up. And he had dropped his eagle. So that's actually success, right? That's what they wanted to have happen. Once you drop the eagle, he no longer is a 3-star. Heck, they even got it dropped to a 1-star. And the reason is that we had to use our Town Hall 11s to nuke more. And I'll talk about that and how to counter. But end of the day, that really, you can see the difference of once that Town Hall 10 has the eagle dropped, how the attacking difference was. Now in the 9.5 group, these 3 right here, they were all 3-starred on first hits. Well, one had a pure attack that it held off for 1-star. So a Town Hall 10 tried to hit the 9.5 and only got a 1-star on it. But the other ones we went for high odds closed, right? We couldn't miss, so we chose to hit down with the Town Hall 11s. We 3-starred all of them on first attack, even with their eye towers. But it's just, it's basically, that's classic nuking, right? So there's no aha moment there. That's Town Hall 11s hitting into Town Hall 10s. 9.5s are Town Hall 10s. So nothing too exciting, but the attack results was a little bit more interesting. The 10.5 nuked into Town Hall 10 for 3-star and did a 1-star hit on the pier, right? So this guy 3-starred this Town Hall 10, which is pretty good. That's a good attack. And then he 1-starred into the pier group, which is pretty common. It's an average kind of attack, 11 on an 11. The 9.5s all 3-star nuked. So 6 attacks, 6 for 6. These guys hit into the Town Hall 9 category and just nuked like crazy, which is what .5s are supposed to do. So their 9 group, unlike their 8.5 group, their 9.5 group did very well in what they're supposed to do with their extra spells and stuff. And then their peer attacks, though, this is where they really kind of struggled to win the war. They had, what is that, 38% 3-star rate, 10 3-stars out of all these attacks. So out of all these peer, what I call peer group, these attacks actually. So for out of all those, they only produced 10 3-stars, whereas our group, this group right here, if I just look at them, they produced almost, well, they did double, 64% rate. So, and that's where we really made up the difference, right? Because then that allowed us to hit up into their base. And this just gets into how to counter. And then this is where I'll show you some replays. When you're trying to counter, what you want to do against a .5 build cancel clan is you need to capture back the advantage they're gaining from this and this. And the way you do it is you have to be very efficient, meaning hitting down. And the way you got to hit down is you got to free up attacks up here. And the way you're going to free up attacks up here is have your Town Hall 9 group hit into Town Hall 11 or Town Hall 10 and get 1 or 2 stars so that your Town Hall 11s don't have to hit that at all. Let me show you an example of this. If I can get in there. So long to get to the actual videos, right? Let's go back in here. But so like right here, this is actually, ChessCheck is one of our Town Hall 9s. And I guess let's scout it first. So what you want to be looking for is hit-ups where your Town Hall 10 or your Town Hall 9, 10's hitting 11, 9's hitting 10 or 11, can get 2 stars because the base is set up to give easy access to Town Hall, and there's enough outside to get the percentage for 50. And so if you look at this, you can tell for sure a Town Hall 9 can drive this category of spell support and get that Town Hall. And if you count around the edge for Town 11, if you can get 34-ish buildings on the outside, 33, there's high odds if you do some tricks around that to get the percentage, you'll get the rest of the percentage from the drive team. So let's take a look at the attack. And this was actually, I think, the second or third time our Town Hall 9. So notice the haste takes out the archer towers, allowing the edge there to be cleaned without being harassed. And he's identified other areas of the map where it's totally not harassed anyway. Uses hogs here. Again, the goal is really to just get that archer tower down. Now, he didn't expect this. I didn't think he wanted the hogs to go that deep and trigger the CC. He just wanted this to go first. So that put him a little bit behind the 8 ball at that point. So you always want to make sure to go lighter than heavier. This, you want it to drop so it doesn't trigger. But he's going to pull it out. We already saw the 2 star, and he gets it. Where he gets it is this. We'll speed that up. I did already. So his wizards will take out the dragon, and now here comes his drive team to get the Town Hall. And notice how a lot of his nibbling, right, has happened before engaging the Town Hall or right during the attack. You don't want to wait till the end because the eagle will just snipe all that stuff down before the attack's over, right? So he's actually a little late here. Notice how some of his guys are still working. If that eagle would have picked differently, it might have been a different day for him. So a little late with these out here, but not bad. And notice 50%. That's a huge win. That's like a Town Hall 8 hitting a Town Hall 10 and getting 50%. And so you saw some of the key techniques he used there as well. The whole using haste and in one case hogs. I would have said haste on both would have been fine, but let's take a look at another one. So this is Ops. That's a town. So Brodovik is also another Town Hall 9. This was not a successful hit for 2, but close. Again, we're trying to nibble so we can not have Town Hall 11 hit it again. So let's take a look. So again, we're nibbling. Defensively, that's probably about 32 buildings on the outside. He again triggers the CC, which isn't horrible. He's pushing in for the tower with his royals. He gets it. And then he's done. Right? So at 45%, look at what he had though up here. If he would have been a little more cautious, maybe here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little more, like maybe taking this and then shooting from range, right? With air, right? A little more nibbling. He might have gotten that, because otherwise the Town Hall, he didn't need as many troops on the Town Hall as he actually put down. I'm doing it again so you can kind of take a look. See how he chose not to drop troops here against this? You know, like the other one attack you saw with Chess-Check. Chess-Check. Right there. So see how he's dumping a lot of hogs against these 2? Probably a loon push is probably with a haste support is better, because he doesn't. I think he overestimates how much juice he needs to get it done. Although he gets pretty deep. Anyway, you can play with it to look at it, but that's really the biggest key. Let me shut that message off. In terms of hitting up. And then the rest were all of us. These are all Town Hall 11 attacks. So basically, it shifted down. John actually had a pretty rough war. He didn't post any closer stars for us. We had 1 star and an entire miss. I think he missed on this one. But, you know, it enabled our 6 attacks to be down more here, right? Into this group. And notice I missed that one. There's a story behind that. But anyway, I think that kind of helps you see what I'm talking about when I'm saying this set of bullets here. You know, identifying Town Hall 11s and 10s that potentially have the Town Hall exposed to a push team and have enough stuff on the outside that when you nibble at the stuff protecting it, you can then clear it on the all with pre-snipe and then drive the Town Hall. Especially with Town Hall 11 with the Eagle, you got to do that first. And then that frees up a more aggressive nuking down. You never even touch that level with those ones you identified with peer level attacks. You use those all for nukes to gain back the advantage that they had from this, right? So you're trying to free up 4 attacks in effect to become even again. And that's what we did do well. And so attacks like with Chezjek and Brodovik's attack on 3 were great examples of how it really helped us out. So at the end of the day, should anybody do it? I think, it depends on your goal. If you're looking for a win streak, clearly doing build cancel enables clans to really not have a, go a long time before getting defeated. They have to meet up with a clan like us that's really deep up and down the lineup. And so you could run 40, 70 wins off this before getting challenged. But if you're wanting to get better at the game and as a clan, it's really not a good plan because it's hiding from you the problems and weaknesses by clasher that you have, right? Probably Buckeye wasn't aware of certain clashers not producing enough. They weren't aware that their Town Hall 9 wasn't closing at a high enough rate. Because if they would have had better close rate in their Town Hall 9, they wouldn't have been as nuking into it. They didn't need to. But instead they had to kind of nuke heavily into both, and that ended up kind of catching them at the end. And then from a fair plans perspective, I guess the same question. What's the goal? If you or better yet, how do you define it? If you're defining fair play as I didn't mod the game, I didn't hack it, it is true. This is all stuff you can do based on the game is built. But if your goal is to fight somebody on even playing field and win by skill, then clearly your ability to shift the weights. Just think about how fair play clans work. Most of the time we're doing arranged wars. Arranged wars are based on even weighting. Right? And so look what the weightings they shift on build, right? By doing it during the war. These weight differentials all came from mostly the late stage push. So anyway, I thought I'd capture it because some people were saying, "Hey man, is this just one example? 4 wars later, here's another clan running it." And I'm really thinking we were lucky to win this one. They pushed us right to the edge. What was it? It was a percentage win. Yeah, by 0.5%. So it was really close. We almost lost, but both sides probably had mistakes. The ifs and buts, candies and nuts. But I think really, if you sit there and ponder it, it's definitely helping clans get win streaks, but I don't think it keeps the limelight on the right things in the clan, which is, hey, where are we weak? How do we get better at that? You'll kind of get caught in the glory, the rush moment of winning, and when you're winning, it's hard to really put people to task of saying you need to get better at blah blah blah. They're like, hey, I'm not winning. I 3-star all the time. Da 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 da. Instead of giving them challenges where you're like, oh, that base I really need to work on. Enough said. Hope it helps you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Don't touch that, Larry.
Touch it, Larry. You know you want to.
Larry, don't touch
Larry,
that.
do it. Do it, Larry.
Larry!
Yes! Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life, Larry.
What'd I
Good
just
job,
say, Larry?
Good job.